I just want to cover another topic, again, not very exciting but very important, which is the Overseas Investment Act. How this will affect each and everyone who is thinking of buying or selling?
Good question. So we've actually had the Act for a long time, but it was actually recently amended. So in the old days, certain overseas buyers were banned from buying certain property, what we called sensitive land, and that's quite an important term. In the old days, i.e. before last year, sensitive land was usually big pieces of land or coastal land or something that had quite unusual sort of, resources or environments. So really
that was the old one.
That was the old version. So now the Act has been amended, and it's been changed, guys. So it effectively did it very quickly and easily by actually just changing the definition of sensitive land to include all residential land and what they call lifestyle land, so those lifestyle blocks. So effectively, I know a lot of people in the media are talking about a foreign buyer ban. It's not quite true. So it is merely just a change to not allow most overseas buyers to buy residential and lifestyle blocks. But this still means that a lot of people can buy. So if you have an Aussie passport, you can buy Singaporean. You can buy,
And if you buy also new.
Yes. Okay. So probably best if we just deal with who can buy. So obviously Kiwi passport holders, you guys are good to go, which is all fine. New Zealand residents can buy. Having said that, guys, they really are focusing on residents that are here. So as of right, you can buy if you've got your residence visa, you've lived in New Zealand in the last year, and in that year you've been here 183 days or more. And you're a tax resident.
6 months.
So for most of us, it's pretty easy. But imagine a scenario, and that applies for your Singaporean and Australian permanent residents as well. Those requirements to be here and be contributing, all that sort of stuff. Imagine an environment though, where you've got permanent residency, and I've got a few clients like this, but they're not here right now, they haven't been for the past 12 months, they actually can apply to the office for an exemption to buy. What they have to do though is say, hey, I'm really sorry, I haven't been there to date, but I am now, and I'm going to stay in New Zealand, and then that should be fine. There is a requirement though, if you leave again permanently, you can be asked to sell. So those ones are pretty easy. There's a few other little exemptions floating around. It's mainly to do with if you've got a partner, and I mean a romantic partner, who is in that compliant category of New Zealand citizen or a permanent resident who's been here, all those sort of things. You can buy if your partner falls into that criteria, if it's intended that your purchase will become part of your relationship property. So the idea is it's shared or old school terms matrimonial property. So for most of us, we fall into that category, so it's pretty straightforward. We can actually though have some overseas buyers, and it's mainly in big apartment blocks. So apartment, and it's off the plan purchases, so it's in the process of being built or they're going to build it. The developer can actually apply for an exemption certificate, so it's got to be a high-rise block really, not standalone. It's got to have more than 20, and your developer has to have applied for and paid for the certificate. This would allow you as an overseas person to buy and keep as an investment property only. You can't live in it. So, and that's okay, and depending on the certificate that your developer's got, they could either sell 100% to overseas buyers, again as investors, or up to 60% of that development. So we're still seeing quite a few buyers in that. In terms of the big question I get all the time, and I don't know how many people will come up to me at functions on the street saying, how has this affected the market? It hasn't. It hasn't, and we've had the busiest November, December, January ever in the history of our firm, and we've been operating for 54 years, so quite a while in terms of conveyancing. All the agents I'm talking to are saying the same thing. So if anything, it does map into some of the data that we'd seen, that there was only a small percentage of people doing this. But the other way of looking at it is maybe, the rest of us are just enthusiastic and we're coming back into the market. Who knows? But we're certainly still seeing a lot of activity. The only thing for buyers, you think, okay, I'm a Kiwi, I don't really care. The only extra step you guys will encounter is when you are a purchaser and you've gone to see your lawyer to, you sign lots of documents with us, there'll be just one extra form where you confirm that you actually do comply. So, you've got your Kiwi passport, or you're Australian or Singaporean, or you're a permanent resident. So your lawyer will be asking to see those things, and they will be asking to see those for you to sign that form. But to be honest, we're already seeing your ID for AML, for land transfer requirements. So to be honest, it's all just part of our process. So for a lot of people, you won't even notice it.
We also provide that form in our kit.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but they have to sign prior to settlement, right?
Correct. Yes, that's right. Yeah. But a lot of agents are being super helpful these days, which we really, really appreciate. And they're going a big way to help us do our job. And because we really just don't want people buying unless they are actually eligible to buy. Having said that, if you do have a concern about whether you're eligible or not, you still are allowed to sign a sale and purchase agreement. But our advice to you, and obviously talk to your own lawyers and advisors, is make that agreement conditional about either confirming your status, or if you think you need consent, actually getting that consent. But yeah, certainly, make sure you just take a little bit of care if you don't know for sure.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for your time. And guys, if you have any questions, just send it our way and make sure to answer in those very exciting topics.
Exactly. And one final point, obviously, this is, discussion in terms of sort of general informative and educational purposes. It's not a substitute for legal advice. So if you do have any concerns, see your own advisor.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for your time, and see you next time. Bye-bye.